Hello and welcome to today's Patreon practice. So today we're going to be working a little bit on external rotation of the hip, so moving towards our pigeon pose. So as always, only do what feels comfortable for your body. If something causes you pain, feel free to either modify if you know a modification or just leave it out if you don't. I'm just making this practice your own. Grab any props that you would normally use in your practice. If you want blocks or bricks or cushions, just grabbing them around you now. And then coming to find a comfortable seated position. And that can be legs any way that suits you. Once you've got that seated position, just allow the crown of the head to gently start to lift so the spine is nice and long. I'm going to close down the eyes. Relax through the shoulders and just start to become aware of your breathing. We're just going to take a couple of rounds of breath here where we inhale through the nose and nice long exhale out through the mouth. So inhaling into your nose and exhaling, releasing. Just let your muscles soften as you do that. So we'll do that one more time. Inhale through the nose and exhale. Just starting to let everything go. So it might be that you're doing this practice at the end of your day. It's been a busy day. You're feeling a little bit stressed. So just start to let go of anything that you don't need to be holding on to during your practice. Let's take a few rounds now of our alternate nostril breathing. So using the fingers to close off the nostrils. If you're feeling a little bit bunged up today and you just want to visualize that you're doing this, then that's absolutely fine. So first two fingers you can take to your third eye, or you can just tuck into the middle of your palm. We're going to use the thumb and the ring finger to close off the nostrils. So close off your right nostril and inhale through your left nostril. The top of the inhale, just a little pause, then close off the left nostril and exhale right. Gentle pause again, inhale through the right nostril, pause, and then exhale left. Pausing there, inhaling left. Little pause and exhale right. We're just going to take a few more rounds of this. If your arm starts to get tired, you can always bend up the corresponding leg and rest your elbow on your knee. So just continue in your own time with your own breath, no hurry. Mind starts to get distracted, just gently draw it back to what you're doing. Just take two more rounds of this. And you'll complete the next time you exhale out of your left nostril. And then once you've done that, just gently drop your hand back down onto your lap. Stay connected to your breath and drop your chin down toward your chest. From there, float open the eyes, and on your next in-breath, raising the gaze. Okay, and I'm going to take the fingers, intertwine them, turn the palms away from you, and use your next in-breath to reach the palms up towards the ceiling, to really lengthen up through the spine, ground into the sitting bones. And then on your out breath, you're going to round the spine, chin to chest as you drop the hands to the top of the head. Inhale, press the palms away from you. You can take the gaze up. And then as you exhale, round the spine, hands drop down, chin to chest. Inhale, press the palms away. And on your exhale, drop it down. One more time. Inhale there. On your exhale, drop it, hands to the top of the head, spine rounds. And then use your next in-breath. Bring the spine back through into a neutral position. Drop the hands down onto your knees. And then we're just going to start to circle through the spine. So you can rest your hands on the legs and just gently circling the weight round. So you might find yourself moving from one sitting bone to the other. And take this in both directions. And then coming back through to center, take your hands onto your shoulders. And then as you inhale, take the elbows back, lift up through the heart. And as you exhale, draw your elbows in towards each other. So really round the spine. Try and maximise the space between your shoulder blades. Inhale, elbows back, heart reaches up. Maybe the chin lifts. Exhale, round it in. One more time. Inhaling. And exhaling, rounding in. And then coming again back up through to that neutral spine, just dropping the hands down, give the wrists a little bit of a shake. And then intertwine your fingers and circle into your wrists. Again, paying awareness to your breath. We'll take this in both directions. And then releasing your hands, we're going to come towards the back edge of your mat into a child's pose. But taking your hands into prayer to the back of your head and just seeing if you can walk your elbows in and forwards. Settle the hips back on the heels and have a couple of breaths here. And if you wanted to, you could take your elbows onto a block and that would give you a little bit more opening in the shoulders. Depends on your flexibility. Let the heart soften down. Again, you've got that breath in and out the nose, just a gentle rhythmic breath. And then on your next out breath, release your hands down onto your mat. And on your in breath, come up onto all fours. Keep your hips stacked over your knees as you creep your hands out in front of you. I love starting a practice with this pose. Anahatasana. Heart melts down towards the mat. You can take your forehead onto the mat or a block if you need to, or you could perhaps even come onto your chin. Just gently toning down through the pelvic floor and the lower abdomen. Create a bit of support for your core, for your spine. One more round of breath. And then using your next in breath, walking the hands back in towards you, coming up onto all fours. From there, use your in breath, extend your right leg out behind you, and as you exhale, round your spine, bring the knee in, try and touch the nose. Inhale, extend the right leg out behind you, exhale, round the spine, knee to nose. We'll go one more time, extend the leg out on the in breath. On your out breath, round the spine, knee to nose. And then inhale, extend the right leg out behind you. And we're going to do a couple of push-ups here. So on your out breath, we're going to lower the shoulders down towards the mat, chin down towards the mat. Inhale, come back up. You don't have to go all the way. You can just Maybe just lower the shoulders an inch or so, whatever feels right for you. We're going to do 4 more. So exhale, take it down. Inhale, back up. Work with your breath. Last one. Come back up onto all fours. Bring your right knee back down onto your mat. And then we'll do the other side. Left leg extends out behind you, inhaling and exhaling, rounding the spine, knee to nose. Inhale to extend. Exhale, round it in. 3 more. Extend that leg back out behind you, and then we'll do those push-ups. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, back up. Elbows stay in toward your ribs as you work, so try not to wing your elbows out to the sides. So there's a little bit of forward movement rather than just lowering straight down. Come back up onto your hands, back onto your knees, and then tuck your toes and find your way into your downwards facing dog. And then start to find some movement in your down dog. So you can pad out your feet. Maybe just have a little bit of a shake over the head. Heavy heels. Use your next in-breath, come up onto the balls of the feet, and as you exhale, lower the heels down towards the back edge of your mat. We'll do that 1 more time. Inhale, balls of the feet, maybe just round the spine there. And then as you exhale, heels come back down. And then use your next in-breath. We're going to step the right foot to the outside of the right hand, and maybe knock my candle over. Take your right arm up towards the ceiling. So roll the shoulders away from the ears, reach back out through that left heel. And we're going to add in some movement. So on your out breath, you're going to pivot onto the little toe sides of both feet. Cactus your right arm as you drop your left hip down toward your mat. Inhale, come up, reach the right arm out over your ear. Exhale, bring it back down. 3 more. Just getting into the side body as you lift up through the hips. And then bring your right hand back down to the mat. Pivot so you're kind of facing forwards again. And have a couple of breaths there. If you need to, you can just drop your left knee down onto your mat. You might just find a little bit of movement. You can sway backwards and forwards. You might find a little bit of movement from side to side. And then step the right foot back through into your plank pose. If you want to drop the knees down onto the mat first, do. We're going to lower all the way down to the floor. So untug your toes, take your hands out wide, tented fingers, if that feels okay. And inhale, just gently roll the spine up through, gentle cobra. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, take it back down. Couple more. Have a nice stretch out through the abdomen. Keep the shoulders soft. So bring it back down, place the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, press up to plank. We'll find our way back into our downwards facing dog. Take a breath there. And then use your next in-breath, step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. We're going to take the left arm up towards the ceiling. So finding a twist, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, pressing up gently through the right thigh. We're going to add in that movement. So you're going to pivot onto the little toe sides of both feet. Cactus the left arm, right hip drops down. Inhale, bring it up. So really opening through the left side ribs. Exhale, drop it back down. Couple more. take that left arm back down to the floor. Turn your left foot to face forwards. Couple of breaths there in your lizard pose. And again, if you just wanted to find a little bit of music, you could use music. Movement backwards and forwards, maybe the hips from side to side. And then step it back through into your plank pose. And again, nice and slowly, so no hurry whatsoever. We're going to lower all the way to the floor. And once you're down, elbows under shoulders, finding your way into Sphinx pose. Reach up through the crown of the head, draw the heart forwards. And then you're going to bend your left knee, so your knee comes up in line with your hip. So it's not a twist, you're going to still draw the chest forwards. Keep the spine nice and long by reaching up through the crown. And then we're going to straighten out that left leg and do the other side. Right leg bends up, right knee in line with the hip. Awareness on the breath. And then straighten out the right leg. And on your out breath, lower yourself all the way down onto your mat. And we're going to roll over onto the right hip. So once you're on your right hip, head is supported in the right hand, extend your left leg out in front of you. So you're going to start to get into the hamstring of the left leg. If you need to, keep the knee soft. The more you draw your foot up towards your face, the stronger it's going to be. Just be mindful, don't overstretch, you don't want to pull anything. There is the option to take hold of the right foot with the right hand and draw the heel in towards the glute. So a couple of breaths here. Just enjoying the stretch. Maybe you can walk your left foot in towards you a little bit more. And I'm going to release it out and do the other side. So I'm just going to have to turn this way because I have no room. So head in the left hand, right leg in front of you, bend up the left foot, take a hold of the foot, draw the heel in towards your seat. Keep the shoulders and the face nice and relaxed. One more round of breath. And then release out the feet, roll over onto your back. And bring your right foot up onto the left thigh for eye of the needle. So just starting to draw the left leg in towards you. And if you want to get into the hamstring as well, you can straighten up the left leg. You can still hold behind the thigh. Maybe you can reach behind the calf. Try not to lift the hips up away from the mat. Keep your hips down on the mat. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Circle into that left foot a couple of times, both directions. And then bend your left knee, take your left foot back down onto the mat. Let's do the other side. Left foot, right thigh. Starting to draw the right leg in towards you. Soften the shoulders. Again, hips stay down on the mat, and there is the option to straighten up that left leg. And again, creep your hands more towards the calf if that suits you. Now, if when we come to pigeon pose you find it doesn't suit you, this is a really good alternative to do instead. So you can feel free to come back and revisit this pose. Take one more round of breath. And then we're going to bend the right knee, take the left foot back down onto the mat, and then bring both knees in towards your chest. Little rock from side to side. And then taking your feet back down onto your mat, press into the feet as you inhale. We're going to lift up the hips for bridge pose. So keep grounded in the feet. Engaging through the glutes, nice and strong. Keeping the weight in the shoulders so it's not running into the head or the back of the neck. One more round of breath. On your out breath, gently, with control, spine will come back down onto your mat. Just let the spine come back down into neutral before you do anything else. And then when you're ready, drop the soles of the feet together and let your knees drop open. So if you wanted to, you could just gently find a little bit of movement, rocking the legs from side to side. I like to take my arms up overhead because I get a real sense of openness through the chest as well. As always, keeping connection to the breath. And now I've lulled you into a false sense of security. We're going to come up through to standing. So take your hands behind your thighs, draw the knees in towards each other, bring them back in towards your chest. Little rock. And then we're going to start to rock up and down the spine. So again, you might do that a couple of times. Where you bring yourself into your malasana. So there is the option to always sit. I'm going to turn and face the other way again now. So there is the option to always just sit your bum down on the mat and work there, or sit on a block or a brick if malasana isn't comfortable for you. So again, just finding the place that suits you. Reach up through the crown of the head, draw the heart forwards, and then take the backs of your hands in towards each other. Keep the heels of the hands together as you draw the hands down just as much as you can. A little bit of opening through the back of the wrists. Trying to retain that sense of space in the chest. And then just release your hands down. And we're going to come through to just a dangling forward bend. So we start to straighten the legs, parallel the feet, and hook onto your opposite elbows. Now keep as much of a bend in the knees as you need to. If you feel you're able to straighten the legs, then you can start working towards straightening the legs. And again, you could find some movement here, or you could choose to just stay still. Couple of breaths. Crown of the head lengthening down. Take one more breath. And then release your hands down onto the mat. And you're going to step your left foot back behind you and bring your left knee down onto the mat. So you're in a lunge. Untuck the left toes. You might want to draw your right foot forwards a little bit more. Make sure the knee is stacked over the ankle. Find your way into Anjaneyasana. Couple of breaths here. Lift up through the heart. Squeeze the inner thighs in towards each other. And then bring your hands down to prayer. We'll find a twist. Left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. You can always keep the left knee down onto the mat. If you wanted to add on, you can tuck the left toes, lift the left knee away from the mat. One more breath. Bring the left knee back down, release your hands to frame your right foot. Step back, downwards facing dog. Just have a breath, draw the heels down towards the back edge of your mat. And then use your next in-breath and draw the left foot forwards. Drop down onto your right knee, again finding your way into Anjaneyasana. Squeezing in the inner thighs. Bring the hands down to the heart, right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Welcome to stay there, or you can tuck your right toes and lift the right knee. If you're wobbly, keep looking down. If you've got your balance, you're looking up and beyond your left elbow. One more round of breath. Bring your right knee back down onto your mat. Hands to frame your left foot. Step it back into plank pose. We're going to lower either to chaturanga or all the way to the floor. Inhale your way, cobra or upwards facing dog. Linger in your back bend just for a moment. And then hips up and back. Downwards facing dog. Again, just take a moment or two, feel your way into your pose, engage through your core. And then use your next in-breath. Float your right leg up behind you, bend your right knee, stack your right hip on top of your left. Have a couple of breaths there. Keep lengthening up through the right knee, keep drawing down through the left heel. And then you're going to square off your hips. Gently step the right foot through between the hands. We're going to come up into your high lunge. Lift up through the heart. Strong in the legs. Take the arms back, so a sense of opening up through the shoulders as well. And then on your next in-breath, you're going to bring the hands to the heart centre, pivot to your left to come into goddess pose. So you've got your toes facing out, heels in, hands at the heart, both knees bent. Couple of breaths there. And we're just going to take it to the other side. So you're going to pivot to your left into your lunge. So you've got your left leg bent. Your right leg works towards straight, although if you feel it in the lower back, just keep the right knee bent. You're back up in that high lunge. Chest lifts. You're going to pivot yourself back into goddess, so to your right, hands back to the heart. Maybe this time you feel you can come onto the balls of the feet. If that doesn't feel like it works for you, keep the heels down. If you've lifted the heels, bring them back down onto your mat. You're going to pivot back to your right, back into that high lunge. Your next in-breath, back into goddess, and then over to your left. And we'll just work through this a few times. Goddess, lunge to your right. Goddess, lunge to your left. Let's go one more time both ways. And then we'll finish back in goddess pose. So relax your shoulders, relax your toes. And then from there, on your in-breath, pivot again to face your right. You're back in that lunge, but this time we'll take the hands to frame the right foot, step it back through into plank. We're going to find our way into side plank. So the right hand comes to the centre of the mat, we're rolling onto the little toe side of the right foot. Any wrist issues, come onto the forearm. If it's feeling a bit strong for you, bring your right knee down onto the mat to modify. If you're feeling good in side plank, you want to add on, you're going to bend up that left knee. So it's almost like you're in a tree pose, but you're not resting the left foot on the right leg. You're just keeping it hovering. One more round of breath. Straighten out the left leg, come back through plank, other side. Left hand down, right arm reaches up again. You can come onto the forearm or the left knee. There is the option to bend that right leg. Don't rest the foot, the right foot on the left leg. You're just going to keep it hovering. We'll straighten out the right leg, come back through plank. Let's put a push-up in, exhale down, inhale back up, and then through a vinyasa, or straight through to your downwards facing dog. Take a breath in downwards facing, And then soften your knees, look forwards. We're going to step or jump through to standing at the front edge of the mat. So inhale, you're coming forwards, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Have a couple of breaths there in your forward bend. Relax your shoulders. Tip your weight to the front of the feet. Or some weight into the front of the feet. And then on your next breath, we're going to come all the way up through to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, I'm just going to step back to give myself a little bit of space. So coming through into like a hip opening chair pose, take your arms up alongside your ears. You're going to take your weight onto your left leg, soften the left knee, rest the right foot on the left thigh. If you're a bit wobbly today, stand by a wall and use a wall. Just start to bend your left knee. Couple of breaths there. On your inhale, straighten the left leg. You're going to draw the right knee in towards the chest. Keep reaching up through the fingers, stand up nice and tall. And then take the right foot back down onto the mat. Release the hands, maybe just give the legs a little bit of a wobble. We're going to come through to the other side. Arms reach up, left foot onto right thigh as you start to soften the right knee. Keep the chest open. Gaze fixed on one spot to help you balance. And then start to straighten the right leg, draw the left thigh in towards the chest. Strong right leg, one more breath. And then release your left foot back down onto the mat. Bring the hands through to the waist. From there, we'll vinyasa. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, flat back as you fold forwards. Inhale, look up, halfway lift. Exhale, hands back, down, step or jump back, plank or chaturanga. Inhaling, finding your way into your back bend. And as you exhale, hips up and back, downwards facing dog. Connecting through to your breath. And then we'll find our way into that pigeon. So you're going to bring the right leg, knee behind the wrist, straighten out the left leg behind you. Square off the hips. Couple of breaths upright here. Really reaching up through the crown of the head. And then on your out breath, gently folding forwards. So most of us will think left hip forwards, right hip back. Just try and square off the hips. Keep space in the chest. Awareness to your breath. Take 2 more rounds of breath. Remember that you have either needle as an alternative if you need it. And then use your next in-breath. Come back up onto your hands. Now maintain this nice long spine, and you can choose to stay here, or maybe you can bend up your left leg, take hold of your left foot with your left hand and start to draw the heel back in towards you. Left shoulder draws forwards, so as much as you can you're still lifting up through the heart, and that left hip is drawing forwards. Any pain anywhere at all, just feel free to move out. One more breath. And then release that left foot. Your choice, you can go straight to down dog or move through a vinyasa. We'll all meet in downwards facing. So what we did on one side and didn't do the other was that down dog hip opener. So let's do it now. Take your left leg up towards the ceiling. Bend your left knee, stack your left hip on top of your right. One more breath. Right heel draws down. And then just square off the hips. You're going to bring your left knee behind your left wrist. Straighten out that right leg behind you. Again, eye of the needle if you need it. Have a breath or two here. Soften the shoulders as you lift up through the heart. And on your out breath, gently folding forwards. Okay, use your next in-breath. Coming back up onto your hands. Option to stay there, or if it feels okay, bend up the right leg, take hold of the right foot, the right hands, draw the heel in towards you. Right shoulder draws forwards. Keep lifting up through the heart space. And then just gently release your right foot back down onto the mat. Take your hands down. You're going to step back into down dog. Maybe just release out the hips. You might just put out the feet. And then when you're ready, come forwards through to plank, chaturanga or the floor, and come through into your back bend. So you can linger here, whether it's in up dog or cobra. Lift up through the heart, reach up through the crown. One more breath. And then bring your knees down onto the mat. You're going to find your way gently into your child's pose. Take your arms alongside you. Settle yourself down. Stay aware of your breath. You're going to use your next in-breath. Come up through to seated, and we're going to finish here in a twist. Take your left hand onto your right knee, right hand behind you. Lengthen on the in-breath. Keep sitting up nice and tall. On your out-breath, twist to your right. Keep the shoulders relaxed, the lower jaw relaxed. Take your gaze to the right. Come back to centre on the in-breath. Right hand, left knee, left hand behind you. Lengthen again. Exhale, you're twisting left. Gaze to the left. Use your next in-breath. Again, come back through centre. And we're going to find our way into our Shavasana. So grabbing anything that you need to keep you warm and comfortable, switching off lights, switching off mobile phones, lying yourself back down. If you want to switch me off now, you can take as long as you like for your relaxation. If you choose to stay with me, then feel free to stay longer than the video or the relaxation that I give you. So lie yourself back down, close your eyes. Arms slightly away from you. Let your palms turn upwards. Let your feet just relax. Bring your awareness back to your breath. And allow it now to begin to slow. Let your whole body rest heavily on the floor. Sense of surrender, of openness, of total deep relaxation. And stay here as long as you need to. And I'll see you next time. Namaste.